As I was just saying, we are going to start the agroecology panel, the panel about agroecology, organized by the IEF. It's a real pleasure. Vamos a empezar el... we are going to start the Agroecology Fund, the panel organized by the Agroecology Fund, and I leave the floor directly to Angela Cordeiro, who I had the pleasure to work with. Please, Angela, and come over, and we'll looking forward to hear from you.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our session, Agroecology-based food systems in municipal policies, lessons from the Global South. We thank you very much to the organizers for receiving our submission to hold a session in this conference. And during the days that we have been attending other sessions, we have seen lots of convergence with the topics that we will discuss today. And so thank you very much for being with us this morning. Next, please. Oops, sorry. Okay, thank you. First, I will do a very, very short introduction because today is not about the Agroecology Fund, but about the very interesting initiatives that municipalities in the Global South are doing to promote resilient food systems. So Agroecology Fund is a pool of funders. It was created in 2012. And now we have more than 50 funders that contributes to the Agroecology Fund, mostly philanthropic foundations from the US. And the main mission of the Agroecology Fund is to raise funds to support grassroots collaboratives, to work in a collaborative way in multi-stakeholders initiatives to advance resilient food systems. Here I show you a map just to give you an overview about the collaboratives that Agroecology Fund supports all over the world. You have the QR code for our web page, and there you can get more details about the fund. But in the 13 years that the fund has been operated, more than 45 million has been raised and shared as grants to collaboratives across the world. Next, please. And Agroecology Fund main core activity is grant making, but also to facilitate cross-learning among the different collaboratives that the fund supports. We have one initiative that we also can get the QR code, that is Grassroots Evidence for Agroecology, that we have been implementing in partnership with Statistics for Sustainable Development. And basically is to provide grassroots organizations with some tools that they can document and disseminate the evidence of the work that they are doing. And one another important activity that the funds supports is learning exchange. And then I will come why we are here today. Last year in December 2024, we hold an international seminar on agroecology in national and subnational policies in Havana, Cuba. And we brought together initiatives from 18 countries, and we had a very, very interesting conversation about the opportunities and the challenges to strengthen the role that municipalities have in building sustainable food systems in their territories. And in conversation with the Pact team, we came to organize a panel here that we could bring some of these initiatives to share with you, parts of the very rich discussions that we have there. And so, next please. Today, we will have 5 presentations. The first one will be one initiative in Mexico that is a consortium of several municipalities that have been doing some joint work and with a biocultural and landscape approach in a very important region in Mexico. And so you will hear from Mayor of Muna, Carlos Ayuso Vera, and Minet Media Garcia, the General Director of the consortium, about the interesting work that they are doing, bringing together a group of municipalities to have an interesting governance approach to this very important territory in Mexico. After the Mexico case, we will hear from our partners from Cuba, Aleida Yanis, that is the representative of the Cuban Ministry of Environment, and also the coordinator of the Sustainable Municipalities, that is one initiative supported by the Italian Development Agency and also the European Union. And she will tell us about a process that they are doing to develop a methodology to strengthen the governance of food systems at municipal level. This is part of a participatory research process that the Cabaiguan municipality has been participating with other partners of the Agroecology Fund in Latin America. And then we will hear from Mr. Daniel Gitahi. He is the Director of Devolution and External Linkage from the Muranga County, the first municipalities in counties in Kenya and also in Africa that has created agroecology policy and a plan to implement this policy. And he will tell us, there are many interesting things that Mr. Daniel could talk to us, but today he will focus on how to finance these policies and programs. And then we have two speakers that are members of the Pact, and we are very happy to have them join this session. Representatives from the Chon municipality in Ecuador, sorry. And also we will have representatives from Denpasar, Indonesia, that also we will share with us a very interesting work on landscape management and how to conserve a very ancestral and important traditional system of water management that they have in the region. And so you'll hear from Ms. Ganda Yukut, the head of cooperative cooperation development of this Denpasar city. And it will be interesting because we'll start with the biocultural landscapes in Mexico, and you'll travel the world to hear about biocultural landscapes in Indonesia. And so I will stop here, and I will ask our first speakers to come and share with us the interesting work that they are doing in Mexico. Please, Carlos Ayuso Vera, Mayor of Muna, and Minet Garcia, General Director of the Consortium, Biocultural Consortium of PUC.
Good morning, distinguished participants. I'm Carlos Ayuso. I'm Mayor of Muna, Yucatan, Mexico. It is an honor for me to be here in this Global Forum in Milano 2025, representing my municipality of Muna and the Intermunicipal Biocultural Association of the Mayan PUC, HIBIO-PUC, an alliance that promotes cooperation among municipalities in the southern region of the state of Yucatan, Mexico. First of all, I would like to thank Agroecology Fund for the invitation to be part of this event. The slide 2, please. Yucatan is one of the most biodiversity states in our country, and especially the PUC region, where 8 municipalities, through a political will agreement, join efforts to conserve the environment, promote sustainable rural development, and improve human well-being, always with respect of the Mayan biocultural heritage that has prevailed in our region for centuries. We represent 137 people, 50% whom are women, and 80 belong of the Mayan culture. Slide, next slide. We do this through HIBIO-PUC, the result of the joint work among the mayors of these municipalities, who, upon recognizing the need to join efforts, have taken of the task of working together to conserve the state's last forest massif, which covers more than 500,000 hectares of territory. In this vast area, the Mayan people, for more of 1,000 years, have practiced sustainable production techniques, such as the Mayan milpa systems, that have helped preserve biodiversity and ensure food security for communities. Our 5 main areas of work are institutional strengthening, sustainable productive development, environmental and biocultural conservation, education and community participation, and green market and fair trade. Next slide. In Muna, agriculture represents 60% of our productive activity, and within the Maya milpa remains the heart of the rural and cultural life. The milpa is not only a way of planting, it is an integrated system of knowledge, balance, and respect for nature. In it, corn, beans, squash, and many other species coexist in perfect harmony, demonstrating that diversity is synonymous with strength. Each plant fulfills an ecological and social function. Corn provides a structure, the beans fix nitrogen in the soil, squash preserves moisture and protects the ground, while other rice species provide food, medicine, and habitat for wildlife. This ancestral model does not use agrochemicals really, and monocultures, on the contrary, it promotes soil regeneration, conserves water, and keeps biodiversity alive. The milpa itself is a living lesson in the sustainability and demonstration how traditional knowledge can respond to current challenges such as climate change and food security. From the municipality of Muna, Yucatan, we are promoting public policies that guarantee food security, being stranger resilient and environmentally friendly production systems. We aim for rural communities not only to produce, but to show dignity, autonomy, and respect for the land. Through HIBIOPUC, we also promote projects that strengthen local economy, enhance climate resilience, and value traditional knowledge for the foundation for balanced development. Our goal is clear: to protect the natural and cultural heritage for PUC region while creating sustainable opportunities for communities. Muna and the PUC region are fertile lands, not only because of their natural wealth, also because of their identity, culture, and hope. We firmly believe that the future of humanity depends on recognizing and learning from these sustainable life models that our indigenous people have practiced for centuries. I deeply appreciate this space that allows us to share our experience, learn from other regions of the world, and strengthen international cooperation for fairer, more human, and more nature-respectful future. Thank you very much.
Next slide. Next, please. Continuing with the presentation, I am Minet Medina, Director for the PUC Intermunicipal Biocultural Board. Of which Muna is a member, and Mayor Carlos has already given us an excellent presentation. I would like to thank the Agricultural Fund and the organizer of the Global Forum of the invitation. The promotion of agriculture is of great importance for our region. We are the region that produces the largest amount of fresh food in the state of Yucatan. But we are also the most treated by industrial production and deforestation for large-scale food production, mostly for export. Therefore, working together with the municipality governments has allowed to develop alternatives to production, health, and fair trade foods, while preserving our resources, our traditions. The joint work has allowed to us strengthen intermunicipality governments by develop technical capacity, reorganize and finance traditional agroecology practices and public policy, strengthen municipality plans to sustainable rural development and intermunicipality administration tools. All these create policies to reduce use agrochemicals and generate knowledge for better decision making. Next, please. As we are here, the Maya Milpa, each call in Maya, was reorganized and recognized in 2022 by FAO, which has allowed the state and municipality authorities to reorganize, promote, and municipalities authorities to recognize, promote, and finance it. A seed production system that includes not only agriculture production, but also beekeeping, handcrafting, and landscape management, respecting research and maintain biodiversity. Next. There is an inventory of 24 editable species associated with milpa, making each one a laboratory for farmers who select their seeds, domestic them, and select the best one for consumption. Ensure food security. Next. Today, with the support of the 8 mayors, the state, non-government organization, and academic institution, we are generating positive impacts on this production system, boosting their developed promotion local market and forest resilience to climate change. Thus, through our production system, have forested, supported, and combined 1,423 social and society-based ventures relative to agricultural food production. Next. Therefore, we have managed to establish the participatory guarantee system, which will producer, consumer, academic, NGO, and organizations from different levels of government, such as MUFPP and its intermunicipality are innovative, support food production in this governance. Many of these products are taken to school lunch, school gardens, and being promoted. In addition, we are supporting of Ministry of Education to include teaching good milpa practice to basic and higher education. The PGS also allows us to identify areas for opportunity and gaps the municipality can join and promote, such as water availability, fair distribution, and decent community roads. Next. I want to conclude by saying that all this would not be possible without the producer, guardian of traditional knowledge, those who care today seeds and their forests, and without the mayor who have decided to join to collect effort. MUFPP is the only intermunicipalities model in Yucatan, has demonstrated the collective work has yielded better results in management and governance. We still have much to do and implement in municipality public instruments, but I trust that this experience stay here will lead to us to new challenge and the better learning. Let's continue promotion milpa and beekeeping, and let's continue enjoy the landscape. Esa era la última ya. Ya, esa fue la the next. Listo.
Thank you so much. We are here in this conference also having many aperitivos. And these presentations, 10 minutes, are aperitivos. And we hope during the week you have time to connect and to talk and to get more details. And you have some space for questions after the first 3 presentations. So thank you, Minette and Mayor Carlo.
Thank you very much.
I will invite now the partners from Cuba, Aleida Yanis and Margarita Fernandez. Ms. Aleida will speak in Spanish, and Margarita, that also works with Cabaguan Group, will make the translation to English.
Muy buenos días. Mi nombre es Aleida Yanes. Soy representante del Ministerio de Ciencia
Good morning, my
Medio
name
Ambiente
is
de Cuba.
Aleida Yanes.
Y bueno, es un honor para mí
I work
poder
for the
estar
Ministry of
compartiendo
Environment in
este
Cuba.
espacio.
It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm going to do a sort of consecutive simultaneous, so let me know if you can't hear her well, especially the translators, let me know how I'm doing.
Adelante. Estaremos compartiendo puntos claves o temáticas relacionadas con la agroecología en
So we'll be
Cuba,
sharing a few key
marco
elements
político
in this
favorable para el
presentation.
desarrollo de la agroecología
We'll share a bit
y
about
políticas
agroecology
en
in
prácticas
Cuba,
en el contexto local,
about the enabling
especialmente
policy
el caso de
that
Cabaguán.
exists, and about putting policies into practice at the local level in our... Doesn't work. Okay, so I'll wait until she finishes. It's going to take us longer, but okay.
Los elementos de la agroecología en Cuba.
It's fine. Oh, it's okay to take a little longer. Okay. Entonces yo cuando hago así es que voy a hacer la traducción. Perfecto. Entonces paras.
Los elementos de la agroecología en Cuba, como antecedentes y como contexto, una crisis económica que a partir de los años 90 abrió un espacio político para que los agricultores e investigadores orgánicos y agroecológicos ganaran en poder. En esta etapa hubo una crisis en cuanto a insumos, productos químicos, combustibles, que facilitó toda esta posibilidad de ganar el poder.
So a few of the elements that sort of provided an opening for agroecology in Cuba. First was the economic crisis during the early 90s with the fall of the socialist bloc. So this opened up a space, a political space for the farmers and researchers who were already promoting organic and agroecology. It gave them more power in this moment when there were no fertilizers and no inputs due to the crisis.
También varias reformas agrarias progresistas que fortalecieron a los pequeños agricultores y sector cooperativo.
And then
Hubo un cambio.
And then several agrarian reforms that were quite progressive for the region that strengthened the small farmer movement and the cooperative sector.
También la descentralización de la planificación y contribución de los sistemas alimentarios a nivel municipal.
There was also several reforms that promoted decentralization of the planning and distribution in the food system.
Un programa nacional de la agricultura urbana y suburbana de referencia para el país, que involucra a varias ciudades y comunidades cubanas con una experiencia exitosa.
A national program for urban agriculture that's of global reference that involves many cities from across the country.
También un programa de formación de campesino a campesino que ha sido organizado por la Asociación Nacional de Agricultores de Cuba, que ha tenido un movimiento que ha involucrado a más de 200,000 familias cubanas en este proceso de aprendizaje continuo.
So also a national program of farmer-to-farmer methodology for learning about agroecology that involves close to 200,000 farmers across the island that has really helped to scale agroecology.
Otro de los aspectos que consideramos importante resaltar relacionado con el marco político local favorable de los sistemas alimentarios y la agroecología en Cuba, tenemos que expresar que nuestra Constitución, nuestra Carta Magna, hace referencia en el artículo 77 que todas las personas tienen derecho a una alimentación sana y adecuada. Esto da paso importante para el tema de la agroecología.
So here we're going to share several of the laws and decrees that really provide a very favorable legal framework for agroecology. And so we'll start with the Constitution, which was passed, bueno, no dijiste esto, pero fue en 2011, ¿verdad? So there was a new constitution that was ratified in 2011. And so in that constitution, Article 77, there's a statement that all people have the right to food, healthy and adequate food.
Existen varias leyes, decretos, resoluciones y otras disposiciones jurídicas favorables para los sistemas alimentarios locales y la agroecología. Es de resaltar la Ley 148 del 2022, que fue la Ley de Soberanía Alimentaria y Seguridad Alimentaria y Nutricional, que establece las disposiciones generales para poder organizar e implementar el tema de la soberanía alimentaria. Es importante también una mirada con el Decreto 33 de Desarrollo Territorial. Cuba fue un país muy centralizado y en estos momentos existe un contexto favorable para la descentralización y está en proceso una nueva ley que va a establecer el tema de los municipios, la llamada Ley de Municipios.
So in 2022, the law for food sovereignty and food security, food and nutrition security was passed. That gives a favorable environment for working at the local level, especially at the municipal level. And then the Decree 33, which is only focused on providing this power for decision-making to the municipal level, the territorial development.
Muy reciente, en el mes de septiembre del 2025, el decreto se aprueba, sale en Gaceta Oficial, el 128 relacionado a la agroecología, que este decreto viene a complementar la Ley de Soberanía Alimentaria y Nutricional porque va a establecer todas las disposiciones de cómo organizar la agroecología, cómo incentivar. Este decreto es muy importante para Cuba y para la agroecología porque precisamente tiene en consideración los sistemas de certificación, establece también toda la organización con relación a cómo realizar y cómo incentivar este desarrollo agroecológico en el país.
And then just now, recently in September, the Decree 128 was approved. It's an agroecology law or decree that complements the food sovereignty law and really provides incentives for implementing agroecology at the local level and provides a system for participatory guarantee and other factors that will accompany the food sovereignty law.
Todo lo anterior abre espacios de autonomía y poder de los territorios para poder tomar decisiones en los temas de desarrollo territorial, pero constituye, a pesar de toda esta normativa, un desafío cómo traducir estas políticas y estas prácticas para lograr el cambio cultural que se requiere para poder aplicarlo a nivel local. Y voy a compartir la experiencia de Cabaiguán.
So all of this political and legal framework opens up spaces for power in the territory to promote agroecology and local food systems. But the challenge is, how do we translate this and actually implement it at the territorial level? So that is what I'm going to share right now, is what we've done in our municipality, Cabaiguán.
Como breve información, el municipio de Cabaiguán es un municipio que se encuentra en la zona central de Cuba, un municipio que no tiene costas, que pertenece a la provincia de Santi Espíritu, y bueno, allí algunos elementos de superficie, población, densidad. Es un municipio que su actividad económica fundamental es la producción agropecuaria, fundamentalmente con los cultivos varios, la ganadería y el tabaco.
So the municipality of Cabaiguán is in the center of the country, in the province of Sancti Spiritus. We have some data there about the municipality. It has no coasts, and its principal economic activity is agriculture and livestock production, mostly tobacco and mixed vegetables.
Ya comenzando la implementación y este inicio del proceso de descentralización, la aplicación del decreto ley sobre desarrollo territorial, Cabaiguán cuenta con una estrategia de desarrollo municipal. Esta estrategia de desarrollo es una herramienta o un instrumento que logra integrar los instrumentos o todas las herramientas que se planifican en el territorio que van en gestión del desarrollo territorial. Es decir, que pudiera estar agrupando todo lo que en función de desarrollo territorial y de planificación desde esta herramienta local, que es una herramienta del gobierno que establece programas, proyectos, políticas.
So something that I forgot from earlier, she also said that all of this sort of favorable legal context is a process that Cuba is going through of changing the way that that the community and the country is governed from a very vertical, centralized system to a decentralized decision-making system. And that it's a long process and it requires a lot of cultural change. And so I forgot to mention that early. So the strategy, ¿va para atrás otra vez? It's a municipal development strategy is one of the laws that allows an integration of all of the other laws. So each municipality develops their own local development strategy, and with that, they're able to identify the issues that are particular to each context in each municipality. So it's really a tool that can help the municipality identify what are the priorities and where they need to develop specific programs, projects, and policies.
Esta estrategia tiene varias líneas o prioridades en el territorio y precisamente desde la gobernanza, que es la capacidad que tiene este gobierno de poder articular acciones para impulsar el desarrollo, está en primera línea la transición hacia una soberanía y seguridad alimentaria y nutricional.
Okay, so there's 4 strategic areas that the local development strategy has identified for this municipality. And the first one is needing to transition towards food sovereignty and food and nutrition security.
Esta línea estratégica hace sinergia con la implementación de la Ley de Soberanía Alimentaria y Nutricional, que tiene una ruta que nos lleva hasta la realización de un diagnóstico y un alimentario municipal con enfoque nutricional, un grupo de actores que participan, la constitución de grupos de trabajo y articula con esta estrategia de desarrollo.
So this particular strategic line complements the food sovereignty and food and nutrition security law and helps to govern the whole process at the municipal level, which includes a diagnostic that was done at the municipal level to identify where are the gaps and what the working groups need to cover.
Ahora vamos a ser muy breve comentando la experiencia del proyecto IPALAP en Cabaiguán. A partir de este proyecto, la gobernanza en Cabaiguán comprendió que hay una actuación, que no existe una actuación consciente de la transición agroecológica, que hay desconocimiento sobre la agroecología y los procesos productivos y socioculturales para un sistema alimentario local sostenible. El proyecto IPALAD ha participado con una acción participativa para el fortalecimiento de la gobernanza a nivel local, para la territorialización, trabajando en 3 líneas de investigación: el análisis de actores, el análisis de marco legal y la construcción de una metodología para valorar la transición ecológica en fincas. Hemos tenido el acompañamiento del Centro Caribeño de Agroecología, en especial el acompañamiento de la doctora Margarita Fernández en lo que es la gestión financiera y el acompañamiento técnico.
So now we'll just go into to briefly talk about the IPALAC project, which is an investigation, participatory action research for agroecology in Latin America and the Caribbean, which is funded by the Agroecology Fund, and there are 7 different countries participating. And so for the project in Cuba, we identified that the governance was important in order to strengthen it, to translate all of these different laws that exist. And so the project focused on 3 different areas of research. One was analysis of actors in the local food system. Another one is analysis of the legal framework. And the third was a construction of a methodology to value and to measure the agroecological transition on farms.
Los principales aportes relacionados con este proyecto ha sido la creación de un colectivo agroecológico de Cabaiguán integrado por los actores del sistema alimentario local. Como algo novedoso es la inclusión en este colectivo de los actores de la gobernanza, instituciones científicas, centros universitarios, instituciones públicas como la de salud, educación, comunicadores, productores, y este colectivo agroecológico ha tenido un espacio de aprendizaje continuo, ha permitido tener una evolución con un lenguaje que ha ido cambiando en el tiempo. Esto ha sido un resultado importante. Han participado los miembros de este colectivo en investigaciones, en propuestas concretas. También se realizó un mapeo de actores locales que participan en el sistema alimentario local.
So some of the key results of this research project, one is that in the beginning of the research project, we created what we call an agroecological collective at the municipal level, which is integrated by close to 40 members of the local food system in the municipality, of coming from different sectors, from education, from health, from agriculture, farmers, government officials, so really a very diverse group that then was able to actually implement some of the research that was done at the municipal level, and it was really a process of continual learning in order to improve the governance at the municipal level.
También se crea una metodología que no solo evalúa, sino también permite la capacitación y la identificación de pasos para la transición, que ha servido de preparación para los campesinos y para todos los que participan en ese proceso. Y también se establece a partir de todo este trabajo una oportunidad de construir políticas públicas locales para la agroecología. Precisamente nosotros hemos construido también nuestro logo que nos identifica a ese colectivo y nos presenta en una posición más favorable para iniciar y para poder implementar todo el proceso de descentralización y de una gobernanza local más eficiente para el tema de la agroecología y los sistemas alimentarios locales. Muchas gracias.
So just to finish the presentation, so we developed a methodology that not only helps to evaluate the transition of agroecology on farms, but also helps to build capacity and identify next steps that farmers can take in order to reach the transition to agroecology. And also, through this whole process, it's been an opportunity to learn how to construct local policies that can really help the municipality transition to sustainable food systems based on agroecology. And yeah, I think that was. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Aleida for the presentation, Margarita for translating. And you had a chance to hear a bit of Spanish and with the beautiful accent from the Caribbean. And now we will like to invite Mr. Daniel Jitahi from Murang'a County in Kenya. And he will share with us some ideas about how to finance these actions, these plans that are evolving in many municipalities across the world, and what they have been thinking in Murang'a County in Kenya. The mic is yours.
Oh, thank you. Is it? Thank you very much. I have 10 minutes to make a presentation. I've tried to make my best because I've only 3 slides. I'll spend 2 minutes slide 1, 4 minutes slide 2, and 2 minutes slide 3. Please guide me so that I'm not out of time. Welcome to Murang'a County. Murang'a County is a subnational government in Kenya. If you've eaten an avocado from Kenya, be sure 48% of those avocados are coming from Murang'a County. We also a major producer of tea globally and in Kenya, and we are number 2 in tea and again 2 in coffee. So we are in the highlands, we are in a water catchment area, we are neighboring Nairobi municipality. So we actually feed Nairobi as we feed Murang'a. So I want to inspire you on, because I know we are young subnational government, you must have been there before, but we have taken a trajectory that is showing how to strategically manage transition and change. So what inspired us to go to agroecology, essentially, is that our agriculture was collapsing. For a long time, our productivity has been going down, and you can imagine a drop, let's say, from tea from 10 kilos per tree to 3 kilos per tree. It was worrying, the same for tea, the same for avocado. So something was talking to us as government. Then the issue of our soils. As we said, you're in a water catchment area, and therefore we were concerned that we didn't have to continue feeding Nairobi with polluted water because of our agriculture. And then the issue of biodiversity. And I don't want to go to the details of how loss of biodiversity will affect productivity. We were concerned about biodiversity loss, and then productivity. I don't know. Yeah, I can see there are some pictures. So how did we go about it? my role, my role is strategic guidance, resource mobilization for government, and policy development. So we started by realizing that we needed a policy framework, so we did a policy. And what is interesting is that we decided to register it on food system transformation, and in so doing, we committed government to provide 10% of its funding, development funding to agriculture to food system transformation. But we knew that government, despite its big muscle, cannot really sustain funding, so we went for an inclusive model for funding agroecology, and the model included mobilizing stakeholders into a multi-stakeholder platform and ensuring that our role as government is oversight, regulation and oversight. So we are driving a model where actors have been given the power to take charge of financing a change process. So, so we have done, we've grown through the process of creating organization, and therefore we have created a strategy to manage multi-stakeholder platform. There is what we are calling a sustainability plan for the MSP to put them together. So within the MSP, we are using what we are called thematic working groups. So, so that there are innovation labs that feed into the MSP, and essentially that opens up in what I want to say. You can see our legal framework, and what is green is our engagement with the university, because we realized capacity was one of the biggest drawbacks. So we started by engaging the university in terms of ensuring they participate in capacity development. So we developed a what we are calling a short-term training module for farmers, where they'll go to the university and get trained for 1 week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks. And then later we engage the university through a platform we are calling County Academic Platform that have allowed us to do a master's degree for actors that are in the extension system. Allow me to look at the model. Next slide. So, in terms of scenario modeling, and that is what we were mandated by our government. Just to mention, the government decided the importance of food systems and created a department in charge of strategy, resource mobilization, and coordination of government. So we are using what we are calling a one government approach. It's still part of modeling. We are trying to bring all sectors of government, because food systems, like agroecology, is not about production. So using the one government approach, we are bringing everybody on board. And therefore, if you look at that model, it recognizes what we are calling the functional areas. And you can see the first one is that we realize the need for policy position and mobilizing producer organization. So all those producing organically or agroecology, we are putting them into kind of cooperatives so that we are able to engage them in market linkages. That is what important. What is important. Then the issue of extension and deficit in capacity and embracing technology. This year we are engaging the Office of the President to help us put an artificial intelligence lab. But more so, we are also co-creating with the youth, because we have an application called the Integrated Food Sustainability System application for market linkages. The issues of consumer logistics becomes important, because all food that you produce goes to the consumers. So we have within the technical working groups, there is a thematic working group dealing with consumer logistics, so that we are able to mobilize food that goes to Nairobi. So we are actually moving food as cooperatives to Nairobi, because that's where the major market is, what we cannot be able to consume locally. Then the issue of food hubs and food pharmacy. Food pharmacy looks a unique term, but we have innovated to have pharmacies that would dispense food rather than medicine. And we have a funding that will at least open 2 food pharmacies where farmers, in cooperation with the Department of Health, would move in, get attention of clinicians, and get food dispensed as medicine. That's an innovation that we are trying to roll out as part of future modeling. And then the issue of hotels. We realized that hotels are major consumers of food. So we have, through the MSP, started mobilizing hotels and mapping markets in Nairobi so that we can start having memorandum to deliver food. Then if you look at the investment that we need, I have mentioned about the government commitments to 10% of the funding in agriculture. But what is important that we said we don't want to control financing as government. So we are kind of negotiating with partners, and we raise the importance of partners. We've just had our governor side and a memorandum with what we are calling the Agroecology Fund and the Regenerative and Agroecological Food System Transformation to finance food systems in Murang'a. That's part of embracing partners' role. It was anticipated. Then the issue of data and nutrition. I should have mentioned that part of the inspiration for food systems in Murang'a was the increasing predisposition to lifestyle diseases. So what did we do? We brought in the University of Nairobi to help us map what we are calling non-communicable diseases preference. And we want to address that through the issue of nutrition in our model. Then if you look at developing funding, we are currently talking with one of the major banks in Kenya to finance agroecology through what we are calling FINAS, Sustainable Financing Mechanism, where we don't have grants, then the bank would be able to provide what we are calling products that will be convenient for producers provided they are getting market. So in short, I don't want to spend beyond that, but I just want to look at the enablers. The enablers in our model is about what will make that food move. We identify the issue of quality control, and therefore we are going for PGS in our model. But my minister was in Switzerland to try and learn on issues of geographical indication, because we want to follow geographical indication, and we are looking for partners to fund our geographical indication, and especially because it's going to help government be able to market our avocado to destination markets. So that's part of our enablers. Then I mentioned about data. Data becomes important for us to make decision. And the global open data for agriculture and nutrition is a global, it used to be a global entity, but the president of GODAN is my minister. So we are using GODAN to help us in technology development, and what GODAN does is it mobilizes the skills among the youth, especially the IT youth, to help us go digital. Then in terms of development financing, we have I hope I'm within time. We have what we are calling umbrella civil society organizations like PELAM that is helping us to mobilize the retro finance within CSOs across Kenya. Funny enough, we are able to tap financiers that are in other regions of Kenya to come to Murang'a because of our aggressiveness and strategic intention to make the change. But as I finalize on the model, I want to briefly mention our influence to the national government. I said we are a subnational government. We did a policy before the national government. So within 1 year, I've been called back to the national government to help develop a strategy for the national government, because our constitution says the role of policy rests with the national government. So we have recently, through PELAM, launched the National Agroecology Strategy for Food Systems. That means the rest of Kenya is influenced to go the way Murang'a is going. And that's why our strategic thinking is having impact, not just within Murang'a, but with the rest of the country. But what can we learn from this? That's right. What can we learn from this? That's right. We look at challenges, solutions, and lessons learned. The purpose for which I was invited here is to develop scenarios whereby you would be able to pick up from what we are doing as a county that may look tiny, but has been able to plan the food system change in a way that could inspire others. So we realized that capacity gaps is essential. So if you are moving into food systems, you cannot do it as government and do it from the office. You need to address the serious gaps that rest with especially the producers. In Kenya, we use a government-led extension system. So we also realize the capacity gaps within the extension workers who influence a change process. So we have, as I said, you have mapped out a process where MSPs are involved in the capacity development, government is involved, and the university is actually involved. Through what we are calling the ISFA, Intersectoral Forum for Diversity and Agroecology, we are soon doing an extension manual which has just been contracted, and one of the technical team that is reading in ensuring that that gap in capacity is adequately addressed. Then inclusive advocacy becomes important. You cannot change unless people have the information. So within the MSP, we are focusing on how do we advocate for the change process so that we are able to gain, because this is like a change process. Initially, you get a very small percentage getting convinced that they need to move with you, but the momentum you pick determines what gains you make in the future. So inclusive advocacy has become important, and it's something that we need to borrow from. Then fostering partnerships. You cannot work alone as government. Neither can you work alone as civil society. So we need every partner, whether local, whether national, whether global. And no wonder we are working very closely with the Agroecology Fund because we realize the importance of fostering partnerships. Then the issue of market linkages, I think I've mentioned that. You cannot abandon producers because they depend on you. If you are pushing a change, you not tell them to produce and then you leave them to forces of the market. What we are doing in Muranga is that where we realize that there is a gap in terms of market forces, the government is subsidizing. Our farmers have smart cards. Smart cards that you allow them to access some farm inputs where we think we have inefficiencies in the market process. So then the issue of farm inputs have become important because in a system that people are not used to and dominated by conventional agriculture, then we realize that the government needs to intervene. You cannot allow private sector on this. So Muranga is actually hosting the biggest dump site in Africa, and we have been able to convince our governor to put some money for circular economy, to use that dump site to create revenue for government and to create farm inputs for the farmers. That is part of our investment plan that we've been able to drum up support because we're asking for investors from all over the world to come and invest in circular economy. Then finally, embracing innovation. I just mentioned about our AI lab. We have convinced Kenya government that we can host an AI lab. Then we've been allowed to pilot transformation in Kenya using what we are calling satellite imaging to project our production, not just in agriculture, but with the whole of agriculture. So we are embracing satellite imaging, and we will be able to project our production, our weather challenges, and especially in the period of climate change that needs technology to be sure that you can see the future before you reach there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tanya, to share the inspiring process in Moraga that is inspiring the whole country and also other countries and other municipalities in other parts of Africa and the world. Before we go to the other two presentations, we would like to get at least 3 questions from the audience so we can break a bit the dynamic and before we go for the last 2 presentations. Francesco, you help me. We have time for 3 questions from the audience.
Yes, good morning. My name is René van Veenhuizen from HIVOS.
Maybe closer.
I almost put it in my mouth, no? But is it working? All right. Interesting presentation, Daniel, about this proactive approach in Kenya. We also work with county governments in Kisumu and Nairobi, and we also understand there's this difficulty at the county level of interacting with all the other departments. You mentioned a multi-stakeholder platform. How do you bring in all the different technical departments in this approach, or is it mainly the agriculture department? I'm just interested about the functioning of the multi-stakeholder platform. Thank you.
You can make questions to all the 3 speakers. Francesco, the lady.
Well, good morning, everyone. Buenos días, con todas, todos. Thank you very much for every presentation. So my question is, how did you do to involve the bank? Yeah, because that is something difficult in our countries, to involve that kind of financial institution to promote agroecology. So I'm really interested to know what are its incentive. You are talking about a public or a private financial institution, but please share with us that experience.
We have time for more 1 question.
Okay, I had a question for the team from Yucatan. So I was wondering if you have had any problems with competition for land between like municipal development and agriculture, and then I was also wondering if there is also like a competition when you're promoting for local markets and kind of the willingness to pay there. Is there a but like a constraint between the prices that you can allow for at the local markets and the livable incomes necessary for the farmers?
Thank you very much. I'll answer the 2 questions that have been put to me. One is on MSP inclusion. The other one is on bank engagement of the bank. Starting with the MSP, let me say that the department in which I work in has a very clear mandate. It's actually like an innovation lab. It's not the department the way you need it, because it has only 2 staff, myself and a minister, and we are supposed to do an advisory role. So I mentioned about the one government approach, and what we have helped the government do is, instead of working in silos, we have embraced an approach where all funding, whether from donor or from a government, has to pass through the clearing house called the one government approach, which means if you are a donor and you want to fund environment, then we have to clear it in terms of not just working with Department of Environment, but ensuring that you're also involving roads, you're also involving health, you're also involving other departments that are within the food system. That way, it becomes easier to control engagement of departments through the one government approach. Similarly, my department is in charge of policy and legal development, a function you'd ask how we are doing it, but with some exposure we are able to guide government in terms of rigor framework policy development for each department. That means from where we sit as devolution and partnerships, we can be able to control what legislation is coming up from another department, because we are the clearing house. So if you are doing a policy in health, and I want to give an example, the Department of Health has just done a nutrition policy, and in the nutrition policy, essentially they send it to me to draft it for them before they go to stakeholder platform. So I assist government in policy drafting and legal drafting. That means if the policy has deficit in terms of inclusion, then we ensure that we guide you on how to create inclusivity. But what about actors outside the government? That was not easy, because you understand the dynamics of forming organization, the phases, from storming to norming, until you are able to work together. We have gone that process, but essentially what we've been able to do in the last 1 year to ensure that we stick together is that we volunteer to do what we are calling a sustainability plan. And I was trying to check for a sustainability plan on Google, and it might have been the first one. We actually, 30 seconds. Yes, is the first one. Then let me go to the bank. We recently did an investment core where Muranga has envisioned how it wants to industrialize. We want to copy what is happening in the developed countries. So we have set aside 1,300 acres of land for investment. And how did we get the bank? We started negotiating so that they control the investment. So anybody who comes to invest in this capital, we refer them to the bank. That is how we caught a private bank to get interested in food systems. So in return, they have what we are calling, they have a fund, not a fund, I don't know how to call it, but they hold some grants. Yes, they hold some grants, and therefore in negotiation, in part of partnership that has gone for 1 year, they also promise to give us inclusive development among the vulnerable groups, starting with the youth, the women. So they will pump funds to investments that are not necessarily commercial, but will have impact on the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. 1 minute, friends from Yucatan, to answer the question about the issue involving land. Then we will go to the other 2 presentations. And you have time during the coffee break to engage bilaterally and get more details. And hear also from our partners from Cuba, because they have very interesting experience on multi-stakeholder process and the governance of local food policy.
Okay, good morning. Usually in the market of Yucatan, in the municipalities of the south of Yucatan, the market is more local. The production is the self-consumed for the local farmers, and it is for the prices not really is variable. You know, no, it's the same price all the time, and it's very difficult for the local farmers because sometimes there are a lot of production and the local price is down. A minute.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Después, al final. Muchas gracias, thank you. And now we will go to the last two presentations. We would like to invite the mayor from Chon, from Ecuador. Sorry, the vice mayor of Chon, Ecuador, Ms. Ivone Chica.
Buenos días, aliados y representantes de ciudades. Hoy les hablaré sobre Chone, territorio de nombre ancestral chuno, que representa vida en lenguaje chapala, donde nuestra identidad se teje entre ríos, bosques y fincas, y estamos ubicados en la provincia de Manabí, en la región costa del Ecuador. Desde la agenda de nuestro municipio hemos tomado una decisión.
So good morning, LI and city representatives. Today I will discuss, I will tell you about Chone, a territory with an ancestral name, Tunu, which means life in Chapala language, where our identity is created by rivers, woods, and farms.
Bien, refería que desde nuestra agenda municipal hemos tomado una decisión clara, restaurar ecosistemas mientras fortalecemos la economía local. Por eso impulsamos la práctica de la reforestación productiva con cacao nacional fino de aroma. Una apuesta agroecológica aplicada que ordena el paisaje, reduce el riesgo de inundaciones y mejora los medios de vida.
The municipal agenda took a very clear decision to restore ecosystems while supporting local economy. For this reason, we supported productive reforestation with national cocoa beans from the Fino de Aroma variety. This was agroecologic-based that manages the landscape, reduces the risk of flooding, and improves livelihoods.
Bien, ¿en qué se traduce esta práctica? En servicio público, cercano, en gestión técnica y permanente.
This translates in a public service and in a technical and permanent management.
Por eso nuestro equipo acompaña y opera un vivero municipal con material genético ancestral. Las plantas se entregan sin costo a productores, quienes complementan la asistencia técnica.
For this reason, our team has created and manages a municipal greenhouse with ancestral genetic material. Producers receive plants free of cost, and then they support with the technical assistance.
Y lo hacemos promoviendo sistemas agroforestales que combinan cacao, frutales y especies nativas para mejorar suelos, regular cuencas y ganar resiliencia climática.
We support agroforestal systems combining cocoa, fruit tree, and native species in order to improve soils, regulate watersheds, and acquire climatic resilience.
Y es que los resultados nos respaldan y desde el 2022 hemos acompañado a 2.000 productores, entre ellos el 47% son mujeres. y hemos actuado en 216 comunidades, restaurando 800 hectáreas e impulsando 1.120 hectáreas adicionales de reforestación. Y nuestra meta es poder llegar en el 2027 a cubrir 5.000 productores y 5.000 hectáreas ya recuperadas.
The results are in our favor. Since 2022, we've supported over 2,000 producers, 47% of them women. In 216 communities, we restored 800 hectares and supported reforestation in 1,120 hectares. The goal for 2027 is reach 5,000 producers and 5,000 recovered hectares.
Y esta práctica nos ha permitido proteger nuestros bienes ambientales y mueve la economía, y ya vemos este flujo económico derivado de las nuevas plantaciones y una proyección a 2027 que dinamiza el empleo y encadena servicios a través de viveros, bioinsumos, cosechas, poscosechas y comercialización, con un presupuesto plurianual apalancado por recursos municipales de cooperantes.
This action protects our environmental goods, and it also gives momentum to economy. We see an economic flow from these new plantations and a projection to 2027 that creates employment and services through, for example, greenhouses, bio-inputs, post-harvest services, and commercialization, with pluriannual budget that's supported by municipal and resources.
Y nuestras gestiones como líneas de acción no serían posibles sin la gobernanza municipal, desde el GAC Chone, el GAC provincial, los ministerios, la academia, las organizaciones de productores y la cooperación internacional.
This would not be possible without a multi-level governance. So we work with GAT Chone, provincial GAT, ministry, academia, organizations of producers, and of course international cooperation.
Hoy compartimos una lección del sur global: reforestar produciendo y producir conservando. Es por eso que estamos abiertos a alianzas que nos permitan acelerar lo logrado y llevar a Chone y a más territorios hacia un futuro más verde, más productivo y más resiliente.
Today we share with you a lesson from the Global South. Reforestation while producing and producing while preserving. For this reason, we are open to partnerships that will allow us to accelerate our goals and bring this action to Chone and to other territories so that they can have a greener, more productive, more resilient future.
Bueno, quisiera finalizar dándole paso a nuestra querida amiga Luisa Vélez, coordinadora nacional del programa AgroJoven de FAO, quien compartirá cómo esta práctica se articula con juventudes y abre nuevas oportunidades de empleo y valor agregado. Muchísimas gracias.
I would now like to leave the floor to Luisa Vélez, National Coordinator for the AgroJoven program from FAO, and she will share how this works with the youth, and she will explain what are the new opportunities for employment and added value. Thank you.
Buen día con todos y todas. Voy a contarles un poco la visión, no solamente desde el sector de la cooperación, sino desde la visión de la juventud.
Good morning. Today I'm going to share the vision not only from the standpoint of international cooperation, but also from the standpoint of the youth.
Para ello les voy a invitar a que nos vayamos a la imagen y conozcamos un poco el contexto local de Chone. Este Chone, desde una proyección ampliada, es el cantón más extenso de la provincia de Manabí, una provincia de la costa ecuatoriana, que se caracteriza por su patrimonio alimentario, que va conectado con sus prácticas culturales como la gastronomía, que es motor de desarrollo local.
For this reason, I invite you to look at the screen so we can know more about the Chone area. This is a canton of the Manabí province, a coastal province in Ecuador, which has a very strong heritage in terms of food production and as well as gastronomy.
El cantón se conecta con todos los cantones del norte de la provincia y esto para nosotros es un potencial gigante porque la práctica que se desarrolla dentro de Chone luego puede tener cabida y replicabilidad en los territorios vecinos.
Chone is connected to other northern cantons of Ecuador and of the province. So this has great potential because it means that we can replicate the same project in other areas of the country.
Y es allí que el cacao toma mucho valor. Es un producto emblemático no solamente para el país, sino que todo el planeta está conectado con este producto. Es uno de los más demandados. Y Chone tiene variedades nacionales, locales, que se han salvaguardado a medida que ha evolucionado en el tiempo.
Cocoa, of course, is a very important product at a national level and also at an international level because it is a very sought-after product. And in Chone, we have local varieties as well as national varieties that have been preserved and are very appreciated.
17% del territorio de Chone se dedica a la producción de cacao bajo sistemas agroforestales.
17% of the territory of Chone is dedicated to cocoa production.
Y en ese sentido, las prácticas agroforestales, además de contribuir a la protección de los bienes y servicios ecosistémicos, su dinámica económica también ha marcado un hito para el desarrollo de Chone. Y es allí cuando la municipalidad ve la oportunidad de salvaguardar estas especies patrimoniales y conectarla con su agenda.
Agroforestal practices were very important in the development of Chone, and the city understood the importance of safeguarding the species and used them as a tool and as something that they needed to protect.
Y la agenda tiene varias aristas. Desde la parte agrícola, también hace vínculos con los sistemas pesqueros artesanales a través de ecosistemas frágiles, las actividades de ganadería, donde se está involucrando o aumentando el número de especies agroforestales dentro de espacios degradados por prácticas intensivas, con esta especie como el cacao. Y así también dándole otros valores a los eslabones, comercialización, procesamiento y la gestión de pérdidas y desperdicios que tiene la cadena de valor del cacao.
The agenda focuses, of course, on agriculture and its connection, for example, with fishery, so the protection of fragile ecosystems, as well as livestock management, and other aspects such as commercialization, waste management from cocoa production, etc.
Y llegamos a la parte del cacao, que ha denominado y ha transformado la agenda local y le ha dado mucha identidad territorial a Chone. El cacao que se produce bajo los sistemas agroforestales es de alta calidad, con características organolépticas muy demandadas tanto en el mercado local como en el mercado externo. Y en este sentido, la agenda que se ha puesto en valor, además de todas esas cifras que nos mencionó en la intervención previa la vicealcaldesa, de cuánto se ha logrado restaurar en zonas degradadas, de cuánto se ha logrado generar como inversión, ahora se apuesta para que la cadena de valor del cacao sea un motor de empleo juvenil.
So aside from all the figures and numbers that were mentioned previously by the Vice Mayor, we put the agenda, at the core of our agenda, there is the cocoa value chain that can also create youth employment.
La juventud rural en Ecuador está atravesando muchos desafíos. 60% de los jóvenes rurales que no logran acceder a un empleo formal y los que logran acceder no suelen ganar ni siquiera el 50% de un salario básico unificado, que en Ecuador no supera los $500 mensuales, y las tasas del costo de vida cada vez son mucho más elevadas. La vulnerabilidad que enfrenta el país también en tasas de inseguridad ponen a los jóvenes en una situación muy crítica porque lamentablemente surgen diferentes acciones que no permiten su desarrollo. Por ejemplo, la criminalidad que está en crecimiento, actividades como deserción en cuanto a la educación y otros factores que van limitando y provocando que los jóvenes migren del campo a la ciudad. Y es allí que el cacao representa una salida no solamente económica, sino de volver a mirar o a colocar a la juventud dentro del campo, dentro de la ruralidad, con fines que les permitan dar oportunidades y crear un modelo sostenible desde lo financiero hasta lo ambiental y ecológico. Con esta mirada...
Miremos ahora los datos sobre la juventud rural. El 60%... So looking at data from the rural youth, 60% of the rural youth is not working, formally at least, and if they do, their salary is 50% lower than the base salary, which in Ecuador is around 500 euros. Then the costs of livelihoods are increasing, and there are other insecurities in the country, for example, that are troubling the youth. For example, crime is rising, there are fewer educational opportunities in rural areas, so this means that the youth is consistently migrating from rural areas to cities. And cacao here gives a significant opportunity to the rural youth because they can stay in the area and create opportunities for financial growth as well as sustainable growth.
Y desde esa mirada se está conectando con muchos enfoques, aliados locales, aliados externos, donde se va a poner en valor, por ejemplo, desarrollo de la gestión de pérdidas y desperdicios a través de cobrar valor con los diferentes productos y subproductos del cacao. Por ejemplo, para reinsertarlos en el campo agrícola, para reinsertarlos con población vulnerable y también poniendo en valor el patrimonio agrícola de Chone a través de su sistema productivo, como es la finca Montubia, grupos locales que tienen una sólida identidad cultural desde nuestros pueblos ancestrales y demás, y también haciendo vínculos sensibles a la nutrición. El cacao no solamente debe ser visto como un motor económico, sino como un producto que contribuye a dietas sostenibles, un producto que contribuye a reducir pérdidas, un producto que contribuye a mejorar la salud local, a revitalizar el patrimonio, a hacer conexiones con la educación y también con la agenda de infraestructura local. Este es un proyecto que Chone ahora está apostando. Es una inversión que la municipalidad ha colocado de 30 millones con financiamiento de la CAF de infraestructura verde y se van a conectar varias infraestructuras como el Centro de la Juventud para desarrollar emprendimientos alineados con cacao, la parte gastronómica, un laboratorio gastronómico para desarrollar productos sensibles a la nutrición y también un patio de comidas donde se puedan brindar recetas con el producto base como es el cacao. Y así reducir las brechas de género, conectando con la población, reducir esta cifra que es muy alta. El 38% de los casos que se atienden en el sistema de salud están asociados a una mala alimentación. El cacao también podría contribuir a revertir estas cifras con dietas diversas. Sí.
Luisa, tenemos que cerrar para dar oportunidad a la otra.
Sí, y la conexión con
Gracias.
agendas urbanas, como se ha conectado aquí. Creo que ya está todo. Sí. Thank you. Perfecto.
Julia, could you please summarize the last words?
So cocoa is connected to several aspects, including health aspects. We know that it is a healthy product. So, for example, we have created several initiatives to improve diets and general health of the population. Of course, it is also used to connect and used to create connection with education, infrastructure. I showed an image with the investment, 30 million dollars of investments in a youth center, a gastrolab, laboratory for recipe creation, because we to reduce also gender gap. We know that 38% of health issues in the country, in the area, are related to malnutrition. So the impulse of cocoa production could also improve diets and lives. Thank you very much for your attention.
So thank you very much to this Mayor Ivone Chica and Luisa. And every time now that you eat some chocolate, you can remind the beautiful work that they are doing in Ecuador. And thank you, Julia, for the translation, and your patient for this consecutive translation. Now we would like to invite the representatives from Denpasar from Indonesia, Ms. Ganda Yukiti, the head of Cooperation Division. And now we're traveling from Ecuador to the other side of the globe and to learn a bit about the landscape management work that municipality is leading. And please take the mic, it's yours, Ganda.
Okay, everyone, I reminder only have 10 minutes, so I will do my best to presentation our fairly short presentation. And of course, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Denpasar City, I am Ganda, and we are here along with the head of agriculture department on the backside, and also the head of fisheries and Food Security Department. Of course, we are honored to be part of this global forum to present our initiative, the Denpasar City Farmers Protection Program, which has been designed to safeguard our farmers and strengthen food security and build a sustainable urban food system. On the next slide, Denpasar, the capital city of Bali province, Indonesia, covers an area of 125.68 square kilometers, and it is home to more than 755,000 people, with a population density of over 5,000 people per square kilometer. Despite being an urban city, Denpasar still maintains 1,658 hectares of rice fields, with 1,000.81 hectares protected as sustainable agricultural land. And we have more than 1,400 farmers organized in 123 farmer groups. And for the next slide, this is a vision and a mission of our Mayor of Denpasar that you see on the first slide. Denpasar is envisioned as a creative city based on cultural towards and advanced Denpasar. Our mission emphasizes equitable welfare, food security, good governance, innovation, and empowerment of communities through Balinese culture. Next, cultural foundation. What we have of the effort of Denpasar city government, and of course, our development is rooted in the Balinese philosophy. We have the oldest Balinese Hinduism philosophy, namely Trihita Karana. We are really depend on this philosophy. There are three harmonies. First is Pawongan. It means harmony among people. And then Palemahan, harmony with nature. And then the last one, Parahyangan, harmony with God. The Subak system, as Ms. Angela mentioned before, it is not only about manage the water, but it is also irrigation water and the relationship between among people, people with God and also with the nature. That is the principle. If we strength of Parahyangan, and then of course we will be strength among the people and sustainable strength for the nature with the rice field itself. The Subak system is our traditional irrigation farming institution, reflects this philosophy by balancing human nature and also spiritual values. Parahyangan, Denpasar supports 42 Subak organization, which is a Subak already recognized by UNESCO as one of tangible heritage. And then still, until now, pretend and preserve with over 35 Pekaseh and 144 Subak leaders. They receive incentive and financial assistance, supported also by the provincial government, Bali province government. This ensures the continuity of Subak as the backbone of Balinese farming tradition. On the next slides, we will talk about the Palemahan. This is a harmony between humans among people and also the nature. To protect farmland, the city has introduced regulations such as 0% land and building tax for productive farmland, ecotourism rice fields, and also pure rice fields. The second one, assistance programs for seeds and then for fertilizers, farm infrastructure, and ecotourism development. And the third, allocation of over 6.6 billion rupiah in 2025 for agricultural facilities and infrastructure. Next slide, for the slide, I will go no faster, slide 7 and 8, and also 9. Pawongan is a harmony among people. However, challenges remain that the Denpasar city government facing farmland conversions, small land ownerships, average only 0.2 hectares per farmer, and low farmer income. To address this, the city provides, first, rice farming insurance, or AUTP, covering 961 hectares. And the second, the city provides BPJS, employment insurance. It's a local company, Indonesian company insurance, for 4,269 farmers. And then the last, government employees purchasing 18.6 tons of rice monthly to support the local farmers. So that is the effort of the Denpasar government, how to protect our farmers in the city. And for the next slide, I will, including slide 10, 11, and 12 about the development achievements. As a result, Denpasar has achieved positive development outcomes, such as Human Development Index, will grow up in 2024. And then economic growth, 5.55%. And then extreme poverty rate, close to zero. And then Gini ratio declining to 0.341 in 2024. Before we move to the conclusion, that I would like to additional the Denpasar government, as part of its effort to improve farmers' welfare and food security, can support strengthening insurance for farmers in several ways, such as policy support, developing policies that support agroecological agriculture, and agricultural insurance, such as insurance premium, subsidies, and incentive for farmers. And then for the infrastructure development, building infrastructure that supports agroecological, such as efficient irrigation systems, namely SUBA that I mentioned before. And about education and training, providing training and guidance to farmers on agroecological practices. And the last, about effort the government to market access, helping farmers access wider markets and get better prices for their products. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for the conclusion, as the slide, you can see the Farmer Protection Program ensures inclusive social protection, especially for small and vulnerable farmers. And then the last one, Vasudewa Kutumbakan, this is our spirit, our tagline of Denpasar City Government, main about brotherhood and solidarity. This is very strong in our city, how relationship between among the people and the effort of the Denpasar government with the farmer. So this is make our purpose, our aim to sustainable of food security through protection our farmers. So at last, our completely presentation today, our video very short, so kindly, ladies and gentlemen, to show our video today. Okay, we believe also all of you know Bali as a one island in Indonesia, so it's very far from here. So let me, okay, so here we go.
Bali is globally known for its tourism, but behind the island's beauty lies a growing challenge: protecting food production and farmers' livelihoods. At the heart of Balinese agriculture is the Subak system, an ancient community-run irrigation network and UNESCO cultural heritage. Guided by the philosophy of Trihita Karana, it promotes harmony between people, nature, and the divine, making Bali's rice terraces both productive and stunning. In Denpasar City, rapid urban development has reduced rice fields to just 1,658 hectares. Most farmers are elderly and work less than half a hectare. To support them, the Denpasar City government launched the Urban Farmer Protection Program under the Jamtani Initiative. It offers social and crop protection services. Farmers are registered with the Employment Social Security Agency for accident and death benefits, plus scholarships. At the same time, rice farming insurance covers crop failure from climate impacts, pests, and disasters. Securing stakeholders, including 5 municipal departments, NGOs, private sector partners, academic institutions like Udiana University, and more than 40 Subac farmer groups. Together, they deliver essential services, from tools and training to risk protection and post-harvest support. The impacts are tangible. Socially, the program offers financial security and stability for vulnerable farming families. Environmentally, it promotes biodiversity and sustainable land use through reduced pesticide reliance. Economically, it cuts production costs, improves infrastructure, and increases farmer incomes. To ensure long-term impact, Denpasar is committed to expanding coverage, strengthening farmer institutions, improving service coordination, and embracing digital innovation. The goal is not only to protect farmers, but to build a just, inclusive, and resilient urban food system, capable of facing climate change, rapid urbanization, and global uncertainty.
Okay, that is the head of agriculture still continue. I just adding the explanation. I give the insurance to the Denpasar city farmers. That is our mayor. Well, my last word, ladies and gentlemen, the key words of our presentation. Denpasar policy, the Farmer Protection Program, inclusive social protections. It is also promotes cross-sector collaboration, sustainable funding, and contributes not only to farmer welfare, but also to a resilient, fair, and sustainable urban food system. Through our spirit, Vasudewa Kutumbakam, its meaning how to solidarity, mutual support, and brotherhood. Well, thank you, and greeting from Denpasar, Bali.
Thank you, Ms. Kanda, for this beautiful presentation and this video that also gave us a taste of the beautiful landscape that you have in Denpasar. municipality. Thank you very much, all of you, for your patience, for the consecutive interpretation. Thank you to Angelica and Julia for their support here to facilitate communication and interpretation. Margarita also for carry out the interpretation with the Cuba presentation. It's very difficult to summarize such a rich panel, but I think we could take some keywords that may make a connection between the different presentations. We have heard a lot in terms of the different initiatives, the importance of multi-stakeholder collaboration. Transforming food systems is not a task only of the mayors, of a few people, but requires involvement of the different sectors. The transdisciplinarity, food system is not an issue only for agriculture, it involves all the sectors. The importance of multi-sectorial collaboration, and the role that municipalities can play in terms of landscape management. And one concept that you use a lot in Latin America, that is territorialization of agroecology, because we cannot change or have major impacts, for example, in issues like climate or in food supply, if we only have isolated farmers doing some nice work. We need to think in terms of the landscape, in terms of the territory, and thinking territory not only on the biophysical features, but as a place of identity, as a place of culture, as a place of ancestrality, and the important role that municipalities can play in this direction. And we have learned the different tools that, the examples that we heard this morning in terms of the importance of working on the legal framework, also in terms of building a participatory governance involving this multi-stakeholder collaborative, the importance of planning, and developing financial mechanisms that can allow the implementation of these good ideas. And the different innovative tools like the ones that we have heard from the different initiatives, but from our partners from Indonesia, on having tools that can protect, can be inclusive, and the importance of partnerships to develop these financial mechanisms, and how important is to shape and to frame all this planning and thinking on food systems transformation with deep values of brotherhood and solidarity that we learned from our partners from Indonesia. And we hope that you have enjoyed the session. There will be time in the coffee break and in the other sessions that you can meet the speakers and get more details about the brilliant initiatives that they are developing in Ecuador, in Cuba, in Mexico, in Kenya, in Denpasar, in Indonesia. Thank you very much.